I'm Dale Cox for 2 Egg TV. It's a hot, humid, dark night here in the Florida Panhandle. So of course we picked tonight to bring you to Florida's most haunted bridge. We're here at the Bellamy Bridge Heritage Trail, and the story of the ghost of Bellamy Bridge is coming up next.
She comes out at night with the moon and starlight. You know she's buried just over the ridge. And she sings her sad songs to her lover long gone each night at the Bellamy Bridge.
The legend of Bellamy Bridge is one of Florida's oldest and best-known ghost stories. Tales of unexplained encounters in the swamps around the bridge date back more than 120 years. In fact, all the way back in the 1890s, the editor of the Mariana newspaper wrote the simple words, "The Lady of Bellamy Bridge has been seen of late." Who was the Lady of Bellamy Bridge? Well, there's only one answer. It was Elizabeth Bellamy, the ghost of Bellamy Bridge. Elizabeth Jane Croom Bellamy was born in North Carolina in 1819 to one of the wealthiest families in the South. Her brother, Hardy Bryan Croom, was a famed botanist. He's remembered today for his discovery of the Florida torreya tree. At a young age, Elizabeth fell in love with Dr. Samuel Bellamy. The two decided to move to Florida with other family members, and a wedding was planned. Whitney Willis portrays Elizabeth during the annual Bellamy Bridge Ghost Walks. She speaks, here in character, about some of the legends that have grown up around Elizabeth's marriage and death.
I've heard many people come out here and say, oh, this lady fell from the sky in a ball of fire, and many people say that I ran from my mansion on my wedding night in flames and jumped off the bridge and died. But there's, tons of stories that come out here and I hear about myself.
So what really happened to you?
I really died from malaria. I was married long before I came here. I had been here over a year when I actually died. And I just really died in anguish because I had to leave my little 18-month-old son behind, who eventually also died from malaria.
Elizabeth and her baby, 18-month-old Alexander, were buried not far from Bellamy Bridge. Samuel, it is said, never recovered from the shock of her death. He served in public office and worked in banking, but eventually succumbed to a life of alcoholism and drug addiction. 15 years after Elizabeth's death, Samuel committed suicide at the ferry landing in Chattahoochee, Florida. When you look back on him, you always wonder what someone feels in their heart for someone else. This is a man who was deeply in love with his young wife, and a man who never got over, losing her and losing his child. He spent the rest of his life, in deep grief, wishing that he could be with them until finally he joined them. These real tragedies from long ago spawned the story of an angry, sometimes vengeful ghost. Elizabeth Bellamy, it was said, began to haunt the vicinity of Bellamy Bridge. Encounters with her were not pleasant. We know that in the early 1900s, the late 1800s, people would never cross Bellamy Bridge at night. The legend was that if you came into these swamps at night, you were taking your life into your own hand. Sightings of the ghost continue to this day, although Elizabeth has become a little more benign over the years. Modern witnesses describe cold chills, strange lights, and a mysterious glowing fog.
Well, one thing that we felt was a very, very cold chill. And so it's kind of like a passing feeling. So I think it is definitely something that we couldn't explain, a feeling of just a chill. And then with the moonlight shining, it's almost like there were waves of some kind of something trying to communicate with us.
A team from Emerald Coast Paranormal Concepts has been investigating Bellamy Bridge for several years. So far, they have recorded strange sounds, unexplained figures in the shadows, and an unusual electrical pulse that sometimes moves through the air around the bridge.
Now they're both going.
So make those lights light up again.
Is that you?
That one's not moving.
All right, make them go off again.
Access to the historic bridge is possible today by way of the Bellamy Bridge Heritage Trail. A 1/2 mile long nature trail leads from Highway 162 to the old bridge. Now the pathway leads through the floodplain swamps of the upper Chipola River, and the walk is spectacularly beautiful during the day. After dark, though, feelings of dread are unmistakable. 2 Egg TV recently tagged along with an all-female group from Southwest Florida. These women made a 5-hour drive in hopes of seeing the ghost. Now, it's a perfect kind of night to try to find or try to see the ghost of Bellamy Bridge. Legend says that on dark, rainy nights when the mist is rising off the river, the raindrops are falling through the trees, and the wind suddenly dies down and the forest suddenly goes quiet, that's when Elizabeth Bellamy is about.
I don't know what they are. Whatever it is that causes those phenomenons or experiences, noises that you hear, I think that's part of the mystery, you know. We want to, and I think that's human nature to want to figure it out.
People do see things. I don't question that they see things. I just wonder what they really are. To think that they're really like, you know, just ghosts about, I don't know if I can, you know, truly believe that. But there's definitely, I mean, it's photographed, you see people, you hear the same things from different people. And I enjoy just hearing all of those stories. And like I said, I love the history behind it. I like that the traditions are passed down from generation to generation. And I think that's something that we need to keep.
Did Elizabeth make an appearance for them? Maybe. The participants in the tour were swatting mosquitoes and enduring the heat and humidity of a warm Florida night when a cold breeze suddenly passed. The strange chill gave the participants a little something to think about as they headed home, and they promise they will be back.
I was actually really nervous when we got here, and as we were walking, you know, you get hot, you know, you get really sweaty, and it's like, you know, your heart is beating fast because you're not sure what's going to happen. And as we walked out here, you know, it got quieter and it got darker, and it became peaceful as well. But I feel more at ease than I was on the walk.
That's part of the reason too, is that we just had so much fun the first time when I was here with my husband and my daughter, Casey Willis. So we came here and just wanted to come back. So I brought my girlfriends with me this time.
And so the legend of Bellamy Bridge lives on. Elizabeth is now seen as a peaceful but sad spirit. Thousands of people walk down the Bellamy Bridge Heritage Trail each year, each one wondering if the antebellum ghost will make an appearance. So there you have it, a little bit about the legend, the mystery, and the real facts of the story of the ghost of Bellamy Bridge. If you want to learn more or you want directions to come see the bridge for yourself, visit bellamybridge.org. I'm Dale Cox for 2 Egg TV.
Now from over the ridge and down to the bridge, each night she sings her sad songs. And as you look through the rails at her body so pale, Elizabeth, she sings on and on. But when the bridge finally fails, it'll end this sad tale, and she'll sleep just over the ridge. No more singing her songs to her lover long gone, every night at the Bellamy Bridge. Mm-hmm.